a process where I was guided somewhat into finding out what was important to me. That seemed to be a real key element, and to bring that out and make it clear to myself what was really important, both the things that I felt moved by, things I felt I was longing to do, and also things that were problematic. All of those things. And when we went through the mind map, those areas came up. And they came up in a way that allowed me to, I guess, put it into a focus that was quite fresh and new. And it put it in a focus where rather than just being aware of it, it was a focus that had movement. It was a map to go somewhere. It wasn't just looking at where am I. It wasn't that kind of map. It was a go-to place. A lot of things did happen, but I somewhat let go of that on my own. And what had happened is, after a lot of yoga teachers were trained, integral yoga teachers, a lot of integral yoga students, we were teaching a lot of places, and we had a board of trustees now, but we didn't meet very often. We met every few months. We had no budget, and we weren't trying to create any funding for a budget because we didn't have any work. But we did every now and then talk about it would be nice to get a dedicated space. And shortly after I did the mind map, I was just clear that we should really go forward with that. And it just happened. It just happened. A space showed up in my world. Someone sent a letter and said, "You're director of a yoga work. I have a space that might be good for yoga." So I went and looked at it. And I agreed. It was a space that looked good for yoga, and I talked to our board of trustees, and we somewhat crazily stepped out on faith, and again, we had a budget of around $200 at the time, so we had to raise a lot of money to just get started. And that was almost 3 years ago now that we opened up the Integral Yoga Institute, and it's one of the most active, most wonderful yoga works in the area, I think. And right now there's about 28 people working there as volunteers. We have hundreds of students coming regularly, and we have great events, and we've had sages and saints come into the area, and a lot of great things going on. And even more things are blossoming forth through that. And almost none of that could have happened if we hadn't actually created this special space for it to happen. And that was not happening before the mind map. That, to me, is a clear fruit of having done the mind map. Something else I learned from Charlie that wasn't specifically part of the mind map process when I did it, and that is to identify what your core intention is in this life right now, and just check if whatever you're doing supports that or not. If it supports it, go ahead. If it doesn't, don't do it. And as simple as that sounds, that's a real treasure. And this did make it very clear what my core intention was for my life.